The Game Awards, a yearly show dedicated to figuring out what singular video game won the most hearts for each respective year. Cause for some reason, we as gamers feel the need to compare an action game about a monkey with a stick to a fun little robot game for little kids. This show's first debut was 10 years ago, so I feel that now is an opportune time to go through memory lane and discuss the games that were nominated over the years, the games that won, the ones I think should have won, as well as every one of my own personal game of the years. So feel free to play along in the comments. I'm sure you've got your own obscure games that you would have loved to see winning one of these. Oh, and subscribe for more content and to support the channel. Let's begin. Okay, starting with 2014. I was 13 at the time, by the way. The 5 nominees were Dragon Age Inquisition, Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. The winner was Dragon Age Inquisition by BioWare. I've only just recently had the pleasure, or displeasure rather, of knowing what Dragon Age is thanks to Veilguard, you know, the one with the...
So, I'm non-binary. What does that mean?
But for what it's worth, it's really fun watching people make fun of the game's writing, especially from people who really enjoyed Inquisition. Since it won Game of the Year, I'm sure this game was amazing before it devolved into whatever the hell this is. Out of these nominees, the only one I've actually played is Dark Souls 2, so it definitely would have gotten my vote. I know Dark Souls 2 gets a lot of shit. I think it's one of the best Souls games personally, but that's a discussion for another time. As for my own personal game of the year, I gotta give it to Tales of Xillia 2. One of my favorite games of all time. I think it's the perfect Tales game. It's got hands down the best action combat system of any game I've ever played. Just stringing combos together, upping that damage multiplier, and then busting out some of the coolest looking finishing moves. Oh, just talking about it makes me want to play it again. The story is also one of the best in a JRPG to date. All the characters are likable. Just an all-around wonderful JRPG that I'm praying will get a remaster soon so more people get to experience it. Moving on to 2015. The year people started to actually buy a PS4 because Bloodborne. The nominees were Bloodborne, of course, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Super Mario Maker. The winner was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt by CD Projekt Red. What the fuck? Bloodborne was robbed. I can't judge The Witcher 3 too much because I've only played it for like an hour. The reason I dropped it though is that I just can't stand the way Western games handle controls. My character always feels heavy whenever I do anything, be it attacking or just walking. Compare that to the fast-paced action of Bloodborne, and my god, the difference is night and day. So I absolutely would have voted for Bloodborne, and it would have also been my own personal game of the year if not for this little hidden gem that came out of nowhere called Lost Dimension. Now, Bloodborne is absolutely the better game. It's the one I'd recommend people play, but that one's not getting any better. Lost Dimension, on the other hand, I see a lot of potential in. If it's this fun on a low budget, what would it be like if it had some more polish? If you want to know more about what makes this game so special, check out one of my more recent videos. I talk more about it there. 2016. The nominees were Doom 2016, Overwatch, Inside, Titanfall 2, and Uncharted 4. The winner was Overwatch by Blizzard, the frat boy company. I don't know. Doom's pretty good. I played Uncharted 1 through 3 and thought they were decent, but I would probably have abstained from voting this year. I got no big opinions on any of these. As for my game of the year, it was Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, of course. Before this game was a thing, we hadn't gotten a proper Digimon RPG for more than a decade. Then Cyber Sleuth comes along with these beautiful models of all the Digimon for you to collect, and a wonderful battle system made by Media Vision, which was kind of reminiscent of a Shin Megami Tensei or Persona game. Love this game to death. I can't wait for Time Stranger. 2017, one of the best years for gaming ever, unless you like bad video games, I guess. The nominees were Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, PUBG, and Super Mario Odyssey. And the winner was Zelda by Nintendo, because of course it was. But you know me, Persona 5 was revolutionary. Well, not really. That was more Persona 3, but Persona 5 made such a big impact on the JRPG community. People are still calling it the best JRPG ever made. It even won Best RPG for that year, and I would have agreed. But you see, a Digimon game also came out this year, so sorry, Persona 5, I still love you. 2018, the nominees were Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War 2018, Celeste, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. The winner was God of War 2018 by Santa Monica Studio. Very well deserved in my opinion. I really enjoyed the new direction they took with this God of War game. Made it feel more like a personal adventure rather than just you play as big mad buff guy, kill everything you see type of game. But I gotta say, I played Red Dead 2 last year and was very impressed by the attention to the most minor of detail in that game. Had a great story too. I liked it well enough to have a poster of Arthur on my wall up there. So looking back, it's a tough call between these two. Red Dead had the better story and characters, but the gameplay sucked ass and suffered from Western game syndrome, where it feels like Arthur always carries around a ton of bricks in his pockets everywhere he goes. God of War had an okay story, but actual good gameplay, so I might have to give it to God of War. But actually, Digimon 2019, the nominees were Resident Evil 2 Remake, Death Stranding, Control, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Outer Worlds, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The winner was Sekiro Shadows Die Twice by From Software, and for once, I actually fully agree with this. It's really funny how, according to Miyazaki, Sekiro was meant to be a kind of prototype or test the waters type game for the eventual Elden Ring. Yet it's still won Game of the Year. Anyway, amazing game, still has some of the best boss fights ever made in my opinion. There really was no other choice here. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is still a big deal to this day, so that could have won too. I'm not really a Nintendo guy though, and they're making sure it stays that way this year. And Resident Evil 2 Remake was pretty good, but doesn't quite reach the heights of Sekiro. My Game of the Year for 2019 though was a little game called AI the Somnium. A visual novel where you play as a detective who can go into a suspect's dreams to look for clues and solve mysteries. A game so special, I can't even put it into words. I can say the same thing for all of Uchikoshi's games. If you still haven't played the Zero Escape series, I don't know what the hell you're doing, go do that. Every game this man puts out is a masterpiece and a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you will treasure forever and ever. And AI the Somnium Files is up there as one of his best works. Moving on to 2020. The nominees were Hades, The Last of Us 2, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Ghost of Tsushima. The winner was The Last of Us 2 by Naughty Dog, a game that caused a lot of controversy. A good thing I don't play these games anyway, that way I can just enjoy the chaos from a distance. Out of all of these, you'd probably think I'd pick Final Fantasy VII Remake, with me being a JRPG guy, but nah, the remake was nothing like the original Final Fantasy VII, which I loved. It was a decent game, but a terrible RPG. My vote here would actually go to Hades, one of the most impressive games I've ever played. The addictive roguelike gameplay, the way the game acknowledges every little thing you do through dialogue. I can't even begin to imagine how much time went into making this game the way it is. Hades did win Best Action Game this year, which I also don't agree with, because Nioh 2 also came out this year, and it was wonderful. Well, easily one of the best Souls games ever made that's not by From Software. But let's be for real, all of these games can make their way to the nearest dumpster, because Persona 5 Royal also came out this year. That's right, Persona 5 made a comeback after failing to be my Game of the Year in 2017 and secured its spot at the top in 2020. I have next to nothing to complain about this game now. They perfected it in almost every way and even added some of the best content in any Persona game to date. The Game Awards didn't even acknowledge Royal in 2020. The excuse was, I imagine, that it's a re-release, but they failed to understand how big of an upgrade Royal actually is. They overhauled the entire game, not to mention I got like 50 extra hours of playtime from all the new stuff they added, which is longer than most games. It didn't even win Best RPG, because 7 Remake released that year and Final Fantasy VII has to win. Always. On to 2021. The nominees were Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Metroid Dread, Deathloop, Resident Evil Village, It Takes Two, and Psychonauts 2. The winner was It Takes Two by Hazelight Studios, a game I'm actually playing right now with a friend. It's a good time, but is it really Game of the Year material? That's a stretch, I think. I would have abstained from voting this year. None of these games really interest me. Resident Evil 8 looks great, but I just can't stand first-person camera angles in games. It just ruins the whole experience for me. But we got a lot of great JRPGs this year. We got Nocturne HD, Tales of Arise, Persona 5 Strikers, East 9, Scarlet Nexus, The Caligula Effect 2, but none of these come close to the perfection that was Shin Megami Tensei 5. Even without the upgraded re-release we got last year with Vengeance, standalone SMT 5 is still one of the best video game experiences I've ever had. While the game's story left a lot to be desired, the gameplay is easily one of the best in any video game ever. Just running around the open world, collecting demons, completing side quests, finding secrets, fighting tough as nails super bosses. Gameplay-wise, this game is just the whole package and more. Now on to 2022. The nominees were... Who gives a shit? Elden Ring came out this year. Do you really think any other game had a chance? Elden Ring is to this day the most impressive game I've ever played. The fact that this game exists at all is mind-boggling. It feels illegal that a game this good and this big costs the same $60 as most other games released around the same time. We got $90 games coming out now, so I should probably shut the fuck up before Nintendo goes,
maybe the Dustbloods should cost $100 instead.
But as much as I praise Elden Ring, there was another game that came out the same year that left an even bigger impact on me. It's a game that I will never forget for as long as I live. It's the sequel to my 2019 Game of the Year. It's AI the Somnium Files NirvanA Initiative. I already explained how Ichikoshi's games never miss, so let's just move on. But by the way, there was a Digimon game that came out in 2022, but it was mediocre, so see, I'm not always biased. 2023, the nominees were Resident Evil 4 Remake, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The winner was Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios, which I think I would agree with if I've actually played Baldur's Gate, which I want to get around to playing it one day. I was shocked it beat Zelda. It just goes to show how amazing this game was. As for Alan Wake 2, I tried the first Alan Wake game and my god was that gameplay just horrendous. If Alan Wake 2 is anything like the first one, then these games are just not for me, I'm sorry. Out of these games, the only one I've actually played is Resident Evil 4 Remake, so I would have voted for it, and guess what? RE4 Remake is also my personal game of the year, so that's right, no niche games nobody's heard of this time. RE4 Remake was such a surprise for me because, well, first off, I've never actually played the original game on the PS2, and I'm not even that big a fan of horror games, but this one game changed all of that. I'm now a big fan of this franchise, minus the stupid first-person games, those ones can suck it. And finally, we've reached the most recent Game Awards ceremony of the year 2024. Easily the best year for gaming ever, but we've had so many great games released last year, it's actually insane. The nominees were Astro Bot, Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, Metaphor ReFantasio, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. And the winner was Astro Bot by Team Asobi. Do I think it should have won? No, I obviously voted for Metaphor because nothing else comes close in my opinion. Metaphor had one of the best main stories in any video game ever. It even won Best Narrative that year. It integrated Persona's social sim mechanics along with the Shin Megami Tensei series' press turn battle system, essentially borrowing the best aspects of all of Atlus's games into one perfect package. But I am happy for Team Asobi, for Astro Bot. Of course I am. I think it's a great game. It's also a game anyone and everyone can enjoy, which is something it has over Metaphor and these other games. But what about my game of the year? Is it also Metaphor? Now, 2024 was crazy. We finally got Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This game was in development for over 10 years. We finally got Yakuza 8. We finally got the Elden Ring DLC, which shouldn't have been nominated, by the way. We got Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, an upgraded version of my 2021 Game of the Year, which came out of freaking nowhere. And of course, we got Persona 3 Reload, a remake of my favorite video game of all time. So you would think that Persona 3 Reload would be my Game of the Year last year, but nope. Reload was not as good as the original Persona 3. I will die on this hill. So that leaves two possible contenders, Metaphor and Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. And honestly, if the title of Game of the Year indicates the game I had the most fun with, I gotta go with Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. But But that game won once already, so screw it, Metaphor wins this one too. So there we go, we're done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you.